Good afternoon, Northwest, and welcome to the April edition of Husky Headlines. I'm Gordon Alcock.
And I'm Anaya Zaman.
Recently, people have noticed a lot more construction in the area. Here's why.
For the last year, drivers in Overland Park have been accustomed to fluorescent orange signs and high traffic on their morning and afternoon commutes. It's all part of the US 69 Corridor Modernization and Expansion Project, or 69 Express. According to project director Steve Rockers, expansion, which has been 20 years in the making, has been needed for a long time.
It alleviates a lot of the congestion issues we have. This is the state of Kansas' busiest four-lane highway. It carries roughly 90,000 cars a day. And we have a lot of accidents out there on the highway. We do these projects and we look ahead to the future and anticipate growth. And we anticipate the traffic in this area to grow even more than it is right now.
Many of the 90,000 cars carry BV&W students who use the highway regularly.
I use it a lot, actually, at least twice a week. I'd say every day.
I use it pretty often, I'm not gonna lie. I go by to buy stuff from my mom over there, like groceries.
According to Rockers, the cost estimate for the project, which is backed by the Kansas Department of Transportation, is $572 million.
Overland Park is contributing $30 million to the project, and that comes out of the toll. The toll, that's part of it, but the other part of it too is we're going to have what we call dynamic pricing. The price is going to vary depending on the time of day, and so we were trying to kind of make sure that toll lane, express lane, moves smoothly.
Construction has brought about mixed feelings in the community. In addition to noise and traffic concerns, 69 Express is a KDOT project. This means state funds for the project come from taxpayers, with toll lanes contributing city funds. Faris Farasati, a former Overland Park city councilman, is a vocal opponent of these toll lanes.
The state came to the city and essentially demanded $20 million to expand Highway 69. The toll lane, we are talking about a lane that has now been constructed with 93% of the cost of it still paid by the taxpayer. But if you as a taxpayer can't afford to pay it, you can't drive on it.
According to Farasati, the project likely would have occurred regardless of city funding, with a 1 to 2 year delay.
We could have said no to the state of Kansas and not pay $20 million. They would have still expanded the highway. In their agenda and in their propaganda, they said it would delay it by 1.5 to 2 years. We argued constantly that, listen, we are not going to pay this $20 million. If they're going to expand it, at least we have that $20 million in the pocket of people of Overland Park. Governments usually look for a golden goose, and the toll lanes are golden goose.
The tolls, varying from 30 cents to $1.75 depending on time and travel, are scheduled to be in place for 20 to 25 years. The original proposal brought up to City Council was 10. Based on City Council calculations, 20 years would provide millions more than needed by the state. As for Northwest, students have expressed mixed feelings regarding tolls.
I know that they're building a lane to make it faster, and you have to pay for it.
I think it's really unnecessary.
I think it's a really great idea. The only downside is that the tolls, I think those are a little hard, especially for students.
For more information on the 69 Express project, you can visit their website at 69express.ksdot.gov, as well as your local news outlets. This is Gordon Alcock for Husky Headlines.
Speaking of construction, Northwest students saw some construction up close over at the DAC.
We go to Ellie to tell us more.
As spring arrives, we all have our minds set on warmer weather, green grass, and balls flying across the diamond. Blue Valley students will soon be seeing green, but it won't be grass. Northwest has got a major upgrade this year on the sports front. Say goodbye to the old dirt fields and hello to the new turf fields, as Blue Valley School District is moving our baseball and softball fields from grass to turf.
There has been a lot of conversation for probably at least 5 to 6 years of transitioning our softball and baseball fields to turf for a number of reasons, mainly the playability. Spring in Kansas, you get a lot of rain on a natural grass field, can knock them out for a day or two, so you lose practice time, you lose game times. Turf will afford our student athletes more practice time, more game time. We lose less games to weather. So that was the big push in transitioning to turf.
Well, the funny thing is that I've heard 3 different times during my time at Blue Valley Northwest that we were going to get turf fields. So when I heard last year that we were getting turf fields, I said, are we really? So I'm ecstatic for our group of kids and being able to play in a facility that's, you know, remarkable and it looks great. And it is up to the standards of the others across the Johnson County area. I think we've done a great job in getting it, and I'm excited for the girls to get to play on it.
Northwest coaches have been wanting this change to turf for many years, and now that it's here, they and their teams are ecstatic.
We heard it from Coach Pangborn, and we were all very excited. Our dirt field was something. It was nice, but there was a lot of dangers with the outfield and the lip from the infield, from the grass to the dirt.
We spare baseballs. Baseballs are super expensive, and on the dirt, they get worn out quicker, so the turf preserves baseballs. We can practice on days that it rains, immediately after it rains. On the dirt, typically we're out for probably 24 hours. Those two things alone, we save money and we save practice time, are 100% the reason.
Turf, because it's much easier to dive and slide, and so it's kind of nicer to not be hurting every time that you slide into a base.
We added a lot more batting cages at each of the fields because a lot of our stadium fields didn't have, they were just used for games before, and now they're being used for practices. So we had to include batting cages into the project. We had to overhaul a lot of our dugouts because they weren't in great shape or they were open to the weather, and so we closed those in. We added some seating to stadiums, and then at Blue Valley North and at Blue Valley High, they historically have not played their varsity events at home, and with this project we were able to make it so they could play varsity games at their site, and so we don't have to share sites anymore. We had to add bleachers and scoreboards and press boxes and sound systems, and some of those things aren't quite done yet, but so there's a lot to all that.
Although the fields have become more popular throughout the district, the teams are making adjustments to help their teams.
It makes everything a lot more predictable, and especially with dirt, you can't, when you throw the ball and you're throwing a short hop or long hop, it's a lot unpredictable. And then when you're with turf, it's so much nicer because you can predict where it's going to be. And especially if it's your home field, you'll know what the turf's going to do every time.
I think one of the biggest changes with the turf is how much quicker it plays. So the ball comes off of it a lot quicker, but it also comes off pretty consistent. So on a dirt field, the ball bounces around a lot. It can hit a rock, it can hit, you know, a dirt clump. It hits weird in weird places. On the turf, it pretty much bounces the same wherever it's at. Now, as the turf gets older, you'll find the spots where it always goes, it'll deaden some more. But right now there's a lot of pop in the turf because it's brand new, so it's getting a lot of bounce.
This upgrade marks a significant improvement in our sports facilities, promising better playing conditions and enhanced opportunities for all athletes. The shift from dirt to turf field signifies a new era of excellence and excitement for the Huskies. This is Ellie Votipka with Husky Headlines.
There are a lot of changes going on at our school.
Absolutely. I spoke with future principal Leah Vomhoff, who is set to take over after Dr. Sharp's retirement.
In our last show, we told you about Dr. Sharp's retirement. Today, we want to introduce you to the person who will replace him next year. After a long career in teaching and administration, a face familiar to us, current curriculum and instruction principal Leah Vomhoff has found herself in a new leadership position as only the 4th principal at BVNW.
I feel like this is the place that I was meant to be at it just took me a long time to kind of find my way here. I feel like learning what I have, and I know I still have lots to learn, but about Northwest over the last almost 2 years is we have really fantastic students who are very high achieving in a lot of ways, and a really talented teaching staff, and getting to work with people who are motivated and care an awful lot about either what they're learning or what their job is, what they're teaching, is really, really motivating and exciting.
One staff member that has known Vomhoff since her days teaching was able to see her grow in her career.
So I was really excited when Ms. Vomhoff came on board here because I have a lot of respect for her work. She is very thoughtful and strategic. She's an extremely hard worker. When you have that much experience and it's that varied, you just become wiser. And so it's been great to follow her and see how that's changed her in a very positive way. She just brings a lot of experience to this role, which is why I think she's going to be so great for our school.
Vomhoff has worked well with students and teachers at our school to improve and meet her goals.
I started working with Mrs. Vomhoff as the math department chair. I got to meet her during summer leadership. It was awesome to be able to share about Northwest with her in that kind of district setting, and then really dive into what the school year looks like to start her first year here last year. The skills that I think Mrs. Vomhoff brings to the table is her ability to listen and learn and lead. She does a great job of hearing perspectives, offering suggestions, getting to the root of what needs to be done, and asking the right people to help her.
She just really makes me feel welcome in the school and really makes me feel like a good part of the school, and just having someone always smile at you just makes you feel good no matter like what it is. She's just a really positive leader. I think when students are able to connect with their administration, it's a lot easier to buy into the things that we have to do or that we need to do to create a community-like school.
As well as being a hardworking leader at our school, Vomhoff has a very active lifestyle outside of school.
Yeah, so I just run before I come to work in the mornings. Like, I'm up pretty early, usually out running by around 5 a.m. because that's the only time of my day that's not usually scheduled with meetings or things. And so I trained for and ran a half marathon, which is 13.1 miles. It began like as a way for me to like physically take care of myself, but it has become a way for me to manage like stress, and is an outlet for me to kind of clear my brain and prioritize before I come into work. And I find if I don't do that, I just feel different, and it's hard to explain, but people who are runners will probably get that.
Vomhoff says she is really looking forward to being able to support students and staff next year as the new Northwest principal.
Well, I think one thing just in general is that like while I'm the next principal and I am honored to be that and to have that title, I'm just a person. I'm here to help. Like I don't, it's a position, I understand that, but I'm also here to help. And so if a student needs something, I hope that they'll reach out and ask and not be like afraid to do that. I'm most looking forward to helping students and teachers achieve like their full potential, right? So whether that means doing their best in the classroom and getting accolades that way, if that means supporting our students at a Friday night football game. And I love getting to watch students achieve at high levels, and a lot of that are all the supports we're trying to provide behind the scenes to allow students to do those things.
Students and staff say they are excited to see what Vomhoff has in store for Northwest as she takes over as our new principal during the 2024-2025 school year. This is Anaya Zaman for Husky Headlines.
We wish Mrs. Vomhoff the best of luck in her new role. Now over to Eli, who tells us more about a new club attempting to bring back Husky spirit.
Blue Valley Northwest's school spirit has changed a lot over the years. Up until the arrival of COVID, spirit was not only far more student-led, but far more participated in. But the brand new PEP Club may be the spark the Northwest needs.
We got interested because I'm part of exec student government, so we really wanted to incorporate like a new club for spirit specifically instead of it being just student government's job, like because a lot of people join student government and they're more interested in behind the scenes work and at a pep club or a spirit club, and it was working really well for them, so we decided that we wanted to try it out here. Our goal is to have people go to like majority of sporting games, like, you know, dress up, like just be enthusiastic about it instead of like, you know, not really looking forward to it, complaining about it. Like we're hoping that people will be excited about it and wanting to do it, and then overall, like, the spirit will just be better.
Northwest staff plans to take a step back to allow Spirit Week to be more student-led.
The ultimate goal long-term would be in the next couple of years just to make sure that we have representation from Pep Club at as many varsity events, not just football and basketball, but softball, baseball, swim. One of the things is just getting a group of students together that are at games or at assemblies or during Spirit Weeks. I see their involvement, and we know that they're willing to put themselves out there. We know they get excited. There's athletes in there, there's cheerleaders in there, and there's people who love being at Northwest. And so I want to challenge this new group of students to be crazy and to have fun and know that there is good in chaos sometimes.
A lot of teachers are excited for Spirit Week to be like how it used to.
You know, when I first came to Northwest, the spirit was off the charts. We were a younger school back then, and over time, it's not been as strong or as deep as it has been in the past. But I do believe that we still have spirit. I think it's a really good idea that they're kind of dividing the responsibilities between Stugo, which has so many different responsibilities that people don't even realize, organizing all kinds of things, and then having a special committee that's going to be focused more on spirit. I think with that split focus, it's going to allow the people that are in charge of the spirit side to really help us grow our spirit back to where I think we all want it to be. But in the process of that, we need to remember that it's not just that group of people that's going to make that happen. They're going to be the captains of the ship, if you will, but we're all on the ship together, and we need to make sure that we're all contributing. So everybody needs to be going to the activities and showing the school spirit and dressing up for the dress-up days and doing all of the things. And it's not just one sport or one grade or anything. It's all of Husky Nation has to make it happen.
With the brand new Pep Club leading school spirit for Northwest, we know we can expect a fun, energetic, and colorful Spirit Week next year. This is Eli Dunley for Husky Headlines.
Thanks, Eli. Go Dogs!
It's game day. What's up, Huskies? It's Game Day Gordo here with your April edition of HSN. Spring is in the air, it's finally 60 degrees again, and we are back with some spring sports action. Starting things off today will be softball. The team has been slow out of the gate with a press time record of 0-2 after dropping 2 to St. James. They will look to right the ship Tuesday with a doubleheader at Blue Valley West. Next, we go to baseball. On March 25th, the Dogs picked up their second win of the season over St. James. Jumping in on the bottom of the 6th, 2 outs, bases loaded, Huskies down 3-2. A walk knots the game up at 3, and up steps freshman Cade Wilson. He sends a rocket double out into left center field to put the Dogs in front 5-3. Keaton Humphrey closes the door and the Huskies win 5-3. Over to track and field now, as the Huskies hosted a meet last Friday, where both the boys and girls took 2nd out of 5. The Huskies dominated throwing categories with strong performances in both girls and boys shot put, discus, and javelin. Next up will be girls soccer. Off to a fast start, finishing 2nd at the MoCan tournament 2 weeks ago, the girls put together a press time record of 3-1-1. Metro Sports MoCan has the Huskies ranked 9th in the state, and they will play West at the Ant-Dac tonight. Rounding out our report today will be boys tennis. Recently, the boys took 1st at a tournament in Emporia, a highly impressive feat competing against some of the best in the state. They will play at home versus Pembroke tonight. That's all for your April HSN report. And remember to stay sporty, Northwest. Now I'll send it over to Ella, who recently talked to the boys golf team.
This seems like a relaxed day at the Huskies boys golf practice. What most people don't know is the mental challenges that come along in golf.
It doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to hit a bad shot out there. It's just the nature of the game, and you've got to be able to kind of just put that out of your mind and go on to the next thing.
Essentially just doing the same thing repeatedly, swinging the golf club. Every shot is completely different. Since you're repeatedly doing the same motion over and over, you can just get in your head.
Just try and forget about it. Picture the next shot in your head and worry about kind of what you're going to do next. Quickly forget about it.
Even though the game of golf has a lot more mental aspects than most people think, the Husky golfers know that the competition amps up at tournament play.
Things completely do a 180 on a tournament. People are just focused, don't want to talk to you. You're out there basically by yourself in your own thoughts for 4.5, sometimes 5 hours. But I love the competitiveness that you have with your playing partners.
I just love the energy that comes with it and kind of the nerves right before it starts. And I always want to do well. I care about it a lot, so it kind of puts some more pressure on it, but it's good pressure.
In golf, there are a lot of hard situations the players have to get out of, especially when the tournament is on the line with points added after every putt.
The various parts of your game is, are they all solid and consistent? Short game, iron play, off the tee. This year, the tryout was so competitive, and everybody was so close. It's one of the toughest years we've had.
What makes the golf team enjoy and want to continue playing the game they love? It's the passion they have and the ability to play golf as long as they want.
It's super fun to play with family and friends. I think that's a big thing.
The longevity of golf is unmatched to any other sport. I know 85-year-olds who play golf, and they love it. It's just a sport you can play for your life.
Come out and watch the Huskies compete this spring season. Their next tournament is April 1st at Lionsgate Golf Club at 3 p.m. This is Ella Dirks for Husky Headlines.
Good luck to the boys golf team for the rest of their season.
A lesser-known sport that people play for fun is paintball.
Our very own Rylan Jara took on the Paintball Club for this month's edition of H2 Versus.
Welcome back to another edition of H2 Versus, where we put our own Husky Headlines staff members up against some of our most talented students and teachers. In this episode, we had 3 different students from the Northwest Paintball Club go up against H2 staff member Rylan Jara.
Start of this year, after the marching band season, I had a lot of free time, and I heard that one of my relatives did play paintball professionally at this field. They were a sponsored team, so I had some paintball markers that I didn't need to pay for. It was just free gear and I could just use it as long as I took care of it.
I've been there for 3 years. I started it in freshman year. So me and my stepdad, we both got a marker and we went out to Jaeger's and we played for 10 hours straight. Man, that was a ton of fun.
Probably about the beginning of this year when I saw the paintball club was posted up.
But for someone who hasn't played at all, sophomore Headline staff member Rylan Jara wasn't sure what to expect as she took a stab at the sport.
Before today, I had little to no experience. Going into it, I was nervous at the beginning, but after playing a few rounds, the nervousness went away. I think the paintball kids did pretty good just because they're more experienced than I am. They took me out pretty good and other opponents, so I say that they're pretty good and experienced. I think they did way better than I did, in my opinion, sometimes, but I got them out when we did the 1v1.
Game! Oh my God! Let's go! Well, for her first time, she was really good. She stuck to positions. She moved when needed to. She did very, very well for her first time. I've seen a lot worse from other people. And the only thing I think she could have done better would be probably to be more aggressive, because she did stay in one position for a while until she was shot at, then she moved.
I think she was really good. I taught her all the side peeking and I think she performed really well. Her style is definitely more defensive, but overall I think she did a fantastic job.
And for those contemplating joining the paintball club, there are a plethora of reasons to get involved.
I loved being able to show people that there's other sports out there that are not football or baseball or soccer, that are the mainstream sports. There's tons of sports for everybody. Paintball offers things that normal sports wouldn't. Paintball, everyone plays their own role. Everyone is their own leader. However, they need to communicate with the other leaders to come up with a good plan. Paintball is like more of a team building sport, and the community of paintball is a lot nicer than those of some other sports. I would 100% recommend it.
I enjoyed the competitiveness. I mean, you play this for fun, but sometimes it's just dumb. It's fun to do stupid things just because you do it for fun, and it's just something to take your mind off of academic studying and other things that's happening in life.
It helps with cardio, right? It's a lot of running. It helps with communication because you actually got to tell people stuff. It's overall great for your health.
In the end, paintball seemed to suit Jar, and perhaps others will find fun in the sport when they decide to play. This is Nick Bogle for Husky Headlines.
Good job, Rylan.
With the end of school fast approaching, it is easy for students to feel overwhelmed and stressed out. We asked them what causes stress in their lives.
What stresses you out the most in your life? I would say what stresses me out the most in my life is when I feel like I'm letting other people down, or when I feel like I'm not living my full potential, and yeah. Thank you.
I would probably say my job.
It's definitely school for me.
I think probably myself, because I put a lot of pressure to, be good at the things I do. So I feel like that really stresses me out a lot.
What stresses me out is when people are not being themselves. Stop putting on a mask and express who you are.
Maintaining a school life and an outside life, like trying to separate them.
Rushing, sororities, housing, everything about college stresses me out.
Probably balancing out work and school.
When I remember one really big assignment I have to do in a certain class that I didn't think was important.
Probably club volleyball and school volleyball.
Probably balancing homework with everything in volleyball.
Probably friends, just making sure that kind of people are always happy, and just kind of people pleasing.
My 6th hour.
What stresses you out the most in your life?
Senior assassins.
With finals coming and the stress over grades, it is important for students to pay attention to their mental health. We go to Ryland for more information.
Everyone deals with stress in a variety of ways, but are students and staff really aware of what causes them stress? With April being Stress Awareness Month, we decided to get some insight from psychology teacher Mark Copeland.
We're about ready to wrap up a unit on happiness and well-being. It's been about a 2-week unit. We are exploring the relationship between social media and happiness. We've also looked at things that we can actively be doing in our own lives to hopefully elevate our level of happiness. We're also discussing the stigma that comes along with mental health issues.
Stress is very common, and it is very important that one knows exactly what stress is so they can pinpoint it and find a way to relieve that stress.
It means the ability to recognize, and have an inner awareness of the thoughts that we experience, and the ability to kind of navigate through the struggles that might be brought on us through no fault of our own, or things that have mounted up over time. It should mean that it's okay to be have struggles, to go through these battles, and to be able to have the wherewithal to confront those struggles that we have, and to get the necessary help that's necessary.
With April being Stress Awareness Month, we asked Northwest student what stresses them out and what they can do to relieve that stress.
I take a minute, I step back, and I breathe.
Sometimes I play games with my friends or just relax at home.
I take naps, I meditate, I do yoga, and I just try to stay healthy.
To relieve some of it, I'd say the biggest thing is just like cutting schools out and not putting unneeded attention in schools that I don't necessarily want to go to, because that's just a lot of energy wasted, and also just more to think about I don't really enjoy.
Well, my dad makes me do meditation every night. It does actually work pretty well. But even the act of just organizing workflow can help to alleviate hard workloads on specific nights and stuff like that.
I try to learn as much as I can and just try to finish my homework and make sure that I know everything before I take a test.
Honestly, I just go on TikTok, which is, it's not healthy, but it works.
We all experience stress in many different forms, but it is how we cope with our many stresses that really matters.
I think other than just, we need to be showing compassion to those that are battling mental health issues and stress, and just continue to do like you're doing and bringing awareness to the fact that we do battle stressful situations.
Sometimes people take on more than they can handle. This month, try and pause to do something for yourself, choosing something that you love to relieve at least a small portion of stress from your life. It can be something such as taking a nap, listening to music, spending time with your friends, going out with your family, taking a vacation or trip, maybe taking a bubble bath or two. One of the biggest things you can do to help relieve your stress is disconnect. Disconnect from the world via social media. Social media has a big impact on lives today, and just taking a day away from it can really help you reset. This is Ryland Jara with Husky Headlines.
And that's all for our April edition of Husky Headlines.
Have a great day, Northwest!